2015. Merry Christmas. We decided to go ahead and do a special training today. I know it's 8:22 a.m. Eastern time. It's kind of early, so those of you who made it, thanks for coming on such short notice. I had Igor here with me. I'm not going to take up too much time. We want to go ahead and get started now, so I'm gonna go ahead and mute out. Igor, you here?
Yeah, man, I'm here. Merry Christmas.
Hey, what's going on?
Yeah, we're crazy people working on Christmas Day.
Crazy for working on Christmas, right?
Yeah.
But hey, it's some things you just have to do. So
Yeah, you know what they say, money loves speed, and you got to show up, and you got to show up early. I mean, I was just writing an email to my list about Joan Rivers. I really respect Joan Rivers because she was a particularly talented comedian. Like, it's not like she was born with huge talent or whatever, but like I don't know, like Jim Carrey or Bill Murray or George Carlin. But she wrote one joke a day, every day. Sometimes more, and no matter what day it is. Like Christmas Day, she would write a joke. Christmas morning, New Year's Day, when someone died, when her, relatives died, whatever, she would still write one joke a day, no matter what. And, when you write 365 jokes a day, eventually you get good at that stuff, So, consistency and showing up is just as important to becoming successful in this industry as ever. So, I don't mind sometimes working on Christmas Day. Besides, I mean, guys like you and me, and hopefully the people who listen, we can take days off when most people can't. I like to take my days off on Mondays, just because, just to spite the man. So, anyway, so you want to go ahead and get started?
yeah. Everything is being recorded.
All right, very cool. So, can you see my screen? Okay, I'm just gonna pull up my fancy-looking keynote.
Yep, I can see it.
All right, very cool. So first off, thanks to anyone who showed up live, and thanks to everyone who watches and recording right now. You made a wise decision because this might become a life-changing training for you. And the reason I'm so confident in saying that is because I've personally changed many lives, or should I say, helped change many lives when it comes to the home-based business industry, helping people establish traffic sources, helping people build sales funnels, and helping people discover a whole new world of targeted prospects with this crazy traffic source solo ads, which is surrounded by tons of confusion actually in our industry, even several years after it went public. So on this call, what I want to do is I want to focus on talking about the ways you tell whether you're getting a good solo or not, how to prevent scammers from getting at you, and everything that revolves around running a very healthy solo ad campaign to start making money with this traffic source, start recruiting people, start putting people on your list, and engaging them. Okay. Now, if at any point you have questions, the folks who are here with us live, or maybe even you, Dale, you shall be the voice of the people, for the next hour. Just feel free to stop me and ask the question because I do tend to go really fast. That because solids are pretty much my life. That's what I do every single day, and I tend to get either carried away, distracted, or maybe even overlooking simple things that might seem simple to me, but not so simple to a beginner, right?
Yep, cool. I have the chat open, so any questions throughout the training, just post your questions inside the chat, and I'll stop Igor so he can answer them.
Awesome. So another quick disclaimer: you might hear a bunch of noise in the background. People walking around, music playing. That's because I usually work in a coffee shop that's located in the middle of a shopping mall. That's my office, if you will. I really don't have like a classic office space. I just work here. I come in and get my espresso going, get a glass of water and start, typing away at my keyboard, writing emails to my list. So I do apologize in advance if there's going to be some crazy person yelling behind me or whatever. So on this call, a couple of specifics. First off, we're gonna be discussing some marketing secrets of a veteran solo tycoon. That's me, who invested over $500,000 of personal capital in studying, testing, and mastering solo ads as a predictable, consistent lead generation source. And I am very serious about these numbers and about making these claims because I've tried virtually every single traffic source, including Facebook ads and Google AdWords, that are no longer a viable option for people like us who promote business opportunities. And we're going to discuss why in a bit. Now, we're also going to talk about daily blunders to watch out for that will cost you an arm and a leg if you don't know what you're doing, and a fail-safe method to tell if a click-pushing fraudster tries to play you like a fiddle. And this happens so often that I don't blame people who feel skeptical about SoloAds, Dale. I really don't. I mean, it does happen so often where people pay hundreds of dollars and they get no opt-ins, no sales, no traffic, and the person who they bought it from just frankly disappears. So next, we're going to talk about why you should avoid all solo directories and exactly what sets apart a legit solo ad source from a rotten scam. And I'm also going to tell you about a brand new solo fraud epidemic that's been getting popular lately that is costing people thousands of dollars, which you might want to know about. And last but not least, I'll also give you the very specific 3 click pools you should fish in for reputable solo providers and 2 well-hidden traps you must avoid to keep your pockets full of cash and your autoresponder chock full of prompt to buy leads. So, a couple of words about myself, and not because I like talking about myself, but because I believe you guys should know why you should trust me, and why Dale called me up and asked me to be the one to kind of introduce solo ads because, well, first off, I've been making a living with this thing for 8 years. I've been buying them, I've been selling them, I've been studying them, I've been converting them, and I've been teaching other people how to convert. I produce about 3 million clicks a year, which is a lot by anyone's standards. So you might think of me as one of the biggest click players in the game today. Now, I've also coached 7 out of every 10 reputable solo ad sellers in this industry who are serving the marketplace right now, and I mentor 94 average people to make a full-time income using solo ads as a primary traffic source. Not Facebook ads, not Google AdWords, not SEO, but solo ads. Now, last but not least, I also serve the triple A's of the industry with traffic, names such as Devon Brown, Michelangelo Lopez, and many, 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 many others, a full list of which you can get at our website at igorsolowitz.com. And that kind of gives you a clue as to why they call me the king of solo ads or, anything similar to it. Honestly, guys, this is what I do for a living. And this is what I have been doing for a living for the last 8 years. So I like what I do, and I take it very seriously. And my job on this call, my mission on this call, is to give you. Well, I can't explain all solids to you in a single 40-minute or 60-minute call. Sure, I can. I get that, but I want to make a huge dent in it for you, so you feel comfortable, to start testing this traffic source for yourself and discover how you can take your business to the next level using it, right? So, Dale, any questions up until now? Any concerns?
Nope. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So, by the way, guys, another quick disclaimer. For some reason, they started bringing in some chairs and tables into the coffee shop that are not supposed to be here. I'm assuming there's going to be some sort of a meeting here happening. So, again, if you hear noises and stuff, just ignore them. Pretend it's Santa, climbing down the chimney. So, solo ads, right? What is solo ads? Which I think is the biggest issue right now is that I believe that most people listening to this call really have no idea. Now, solo ad is a fixed cost traffic generation method that allows you to rent other people's mailing lists with minimum financial risk. Basically, you want to think about it as a PPC traffic source where you pay per click delivered, where you prepay a certain amount of clicks, and then you have somebody mail their email list and keep mailing that list until they hit the number. So let's just say Dale wanted to get 500 clicks with me. Then he would approach me and he would be like, Igor, how much does 500 clicks cost? And I'd be like, well, it's $1 a click and it's going to be 500 bucks. for the sake of easy math. And then Dale PayPal's me $500, and I go to work and I start mailing my list until I hit that number or more. Usually, you can expect to get a little bit more. Like for us, the standard practice of over delivery is about 10%. So if you order 500 clicks, you get 550. If you order 1,000, you get 1,100, and so on and so forth. Basically, just giving you a little bit extra for the money you paid. Now, solo ads is 100% email traffic, and that's why it's really effective. In fact, it is way more effective than Facebook ads for many reasons, but in this case, I just want to briefly touch upon the fact that Facebook ads are really cold. Like you cannot actually sell anything on Facebook ads. Like you can't link a Facebook ad to an affiliate link and expect to make a sale. It just doesn't happen. All the sales that you're making with Facebook ads need to happen on the back end through your follow-up sequence, through your website, through your follow-up marketing, because believe it or not, nobody buys anything on Facebook. Like there is no human being that is conditioned to buy anything on Facebook. While on the other hand, and you probably know what I'm talking about, Dale. Like we all buy through email. Like when was the last time you bought anything on Facebook or browsing a newsfeed? Versus, when was the last time you bought something, after you got an email from a friend marketer, or maybe like an Amazon or eBay or something?
Yeah, I usually don't just go and pull my credit card out on a Facebook ad. If that happens, it's something that I clicked on a few times and been on the website. I actually took me like 4 days. I purchased a T-shirt from some company, but it took me like 4 or 5 days to actually swipe the card because I wanted to make sure, that everything was correct because it popped up inside my news feed. So rarely
Yeah.
do people buy off of Facebook traffic.
Yeah, I mean, there's exceptions like T-shirts and stuff, but I mean, why would then companies like Teespring and T-Gear build email lists?
Yep,
Why don't they keep it all on Facebook, right? I mean, they want the customers on their list because, first off, Facebook does not have any control over their list. Facebook can shut you down anytime they want, and you can't argue, you can't do anything. There's even no one you can talk to. I,
nope,
I lost three Facebook ads account by just promoting list building stuff, and they just don't give a crap. They just don't give a damn about kicking you out. And I was spending $1,500 a day on my ads,
that's crazy.
and they just don't give, they just don't care. So but on the other hand, email is still the most powerful media online when it comes to selling, when it comes to getting sales. That's why as soon as you buy something from Amazon, they'll start emailing you similar offers. They'll put a retargeting pixel in their email. It will follow you around the internet. It's still all about the email, even today, even decades after the online industry took a start. You still want to build your email list, and that's where the money is. The money's in a list, as they say. Everybody probably heard that term by now. And so you never want to stop doing that. Like the purpose of getting any traffic is to put people on your list, and that's why solo ads are so cool, because it's list traffic. I mean, out of all cold traffic sources, this is the warmest one you can expect to get. Now, as you can see me, I wrote down a parentheses here that we now developed a web-based solo traffic source, which is even better. And that's something that you get when you work with us. We developed a brand new solo traffic source that's converting like crazy right now, but we're not going to discuss it on this call. This is something you should ask to learn more about when you reach out, and of course, the information will be given to you at the end of the call. For now, another reason why you want to do solo is because it's probably the only make money online and biz up friendly traffic source there is. It works really well for this niche. It does not work well for, say, web design and SEO services and webinar software. Like we're using Webinar Jam to do this hangout, right? And if you were to promote Webinar Jam through solo ads, it would probably not do well because it's too advanced. The kind of people you can expect to generate onto your list and into your team through solo ads are usually the baby boomers, people who are just starting out online, literally like a month or two into the whole online game, trying to make money. And these are, I believe, are ideal prospects for companies like Infinity Profit System that are pretty much just geared towards the beginner, right, Dale? Dale, you're still awake, man? All right. Do you guys still hear me?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I had it muted. The dog was barking in the background. I ain't want to over here going crazy. Yeah, but he just started November 11th, 2015. So it's perfect for solo ad traffic. Perfect.
Yeah, because the message to market match is so spot on that it will work regardless whether you're a beginner or an advanced marketer. So the funnel is just designed in a way where it just removes the risk. It focuses on the automation, right? It just very very geared towards the beginner, which is what the beginners are looking for. So another big tip is something we touched upon briefly is solo ads are a godsend for IAMers because there is no regulations. Like this is the only unregulated traffic source you can use right now. Facebook is regulated and they have stupid terms and conditions and stupid red tape that prevents you from making any claims or just stating, hey, I'm promoting the infinite profit system and I'm proud of it because it's amazing piece of money making system, and I want to spread the word about it because it helps lots of people. But Facebook doesn't care. They'll shut you down because of their stupid regulations. Same thing with Google. I dare you to try promote something related to making money online on Google. You get shut down on every level. So try to do that with an SEO company. Ask them to optimize your squeeze page. That's not going to happen. You got to build a blog and put some content on it, and even then you can't use the spam triggering words like profits and and stuff like that. So that's why, again, I'm just kind of, you probably noticed that I'm really trying to sell you the idea behind solids because I really want you to understand that it is an amazingly effective and a very very cool traffic source that's not regulated, that's affordable, and that doesn't really require much knowledge on your part, to be honest, because all you do is just give your link to the solid provider for the traffic provider, and where you need to set up ads or do whatever. Just decide how many clicks you want and send the link. So now, before you whip out your credit card, a couple of things you want to make sure. You want to make sure that your funnel redirects are set up, meaning that your squeeze page redirects properly. And if you don't have a squeeze page, either get one or talk to the solo provider to build you one. That might be a good idea. Now, you also want to make sure that your opt-in form operates well and that you're using single opt-in, not double opt-in. Dale, do our listeners know what single opt-in versus double opt-in is?
Not a lot because a lot of these guys are new online. So
Okay, cool. So let me explain. So there's two ways to build your list. There's single opt-in, where I would just enter my email into your squeeze page, and I would just end up on your list, and you can start emailing me right away. And there's double opt-in, where I will enter my email into your squeeze page, and then you will send me an automated email through your autoresponder system, let's just say Aweber or GetResponse or MailChimp or whatever, and I have to click a link inside that email in order to confirm my request to receive more information from you. That's called double opt-in because I have to double confirm. Now, double opt-in, from a legal standpoint, is considered to be the proper way to build a list to protect yourself from spam complaints. But in reality, and that's what you're being told probably by your autoresponder company, but in reality, single opt-in is just as legal, and it will just make you more money. So when you do solo ads, you want to use single opt-in, not double opt-in, and you also want to make sure you have at least some follow-up happening, meaning that you have at least a few emails, at least 3 to 5 emails ready to go out the moment someone joins your list. Okay, now I'm a big advocate of emailing my list every day, but we're going to talk about it a little bit later and maybe expand if there's time. Now, also make sure that your buy now buttons work right. I mean, you wouldn't believe how many solos we sent out for people who didn't set up their links and who lost out on commissions just because either affiliate ID wasn't tracking or the buy now button wasn't working, or maybe the site was down. So all of that stuff, you absolutely have to sure that works before you send the link to the solo ad provider. Now, number 4 is the tracking, and I recommend using quality click control. Now, depending on who you work with, you might not need the tracking because the solo provider will supply it. Like we do supply, tracking for you in real time. But again, not everyone does it, and not everybody is trustworthy. So you want to use your own tracking systems to know exactly how many clicks you received, and never rely on other people's tracking. In that case, and I recommend using quality click control, which is very reliable software. And if you'd like, I can hook Dale up with the creator of the software, and maybe secure you guys a nice little discount so you can get it at a discount, because it is really really useful stuff. You will use it not just for promoting the infinity profit system, but from for anything you choose to promote. Now, number five is you always want to Google the name of the person you're buying traffic from and the term solo ad. So if you're buying traffic from Dale, Google Dale DPS, as I call him, but Dale Posner, and the term solo, and you put it in Google, and stuff will come out, right? So if Dale is selling traffic, you'll see people sharing feedback. Now, either good or bad feedback is okay. The worst part is not having any feedback. Like if you actually like buy from John Doe, and you Google John Doe solo ads, and there's nothing, there's no feedback, positive or negative, run away. Okay, this is probably a fly by night person that tries to take advantage of the demand in the marketplace, creating fake profiles to steal your money. That is a very common thing in our industry, unfortunately, where people just create fake Facebook profiles and fake personas to try and get you to send them money for traffic, and they never respond, and they just disappear, and they will pop up with a different name, later on. There's even, Dale, believe it or not, there's even identity theft happening, and there's one person who pretends to be me, and tries to sell leads to people, and he wants them to send him money on Western Union, which usually gets him busted, but because we got his PayPal account shut down. But he actually got away with scamming a few people and telling them that it was me.
Hey, yes.
So guys,
I remember, I think it was made, it probably was about 2, 3 years ago when the guy, he had a fake Skype account. And
yep, exactly.
and I remember you telling me that it was a fake guy who was out there who tried to steal your name.
Yeah. That was a dude from the Philippines who wanted you to send him money through the Western Union or wire transfer. It was so funny. I mean, it wasn't funny at the time. I was pissed, but I eventually realized that when people try to fake you or just try to pretend to be you, then
Yep,
you know that you're probably getting famous. Let's put it this way.
when people start doing fake accounts of you and all that stuff, you finally made it.
Yeah, exactly. And it goes the same way about people hating you too. I don't remember who said that, but they said you're nobody until someone hates you. And I got plenty of those people too. The folks who hate me. So that's all good. But anyway, guys, please beware. Don't just blindly follow somebody. Just question everything. Okay, it is truly a dangerous game, and I would hate to see you get hurt if you don't know what you're doing, and if you're skeptical or you're questioning your own ability, your own judgmental abilities. Then talk to Dale and ask him whether or not this or that person should be trusted, because he's experienced and he can probably tell you exactly who you should and should not get traffic from. Now, number 7 and 8 are warnings. The first warning is broker outage. There's a lot of people out there who all they do is broker traffic, kind of like real estate agents who sell out of people's houses and they kind of collect a commission. Well, while in real estate it might be useful to use a broker and to use somebody who's like an agent who knows the market, etc. In this industry, there's really no point in doing that, because the legit people who have the legit traffic are out there, and there's no point for you to work with a broker. There's really no point for you to overpay for the clicks, for the traffic, just so you can deal with one person. I don't see a reason. And number 8 is, of course, bot traffic, which is the epitome I was talking about. It's like the new plague in this industry, where people say you fake traffic. And then, believe it or not, this traffic will also opt in. Like, they will code the traffic in a way where it will find the opt-in form, and it will enter a fake email into the opt-in form, and you'll get like a 50% opt-in rate, but no sales.
I just
And
a couple days ago, a lady went and bought some fiber traffic, and she had 823 signups. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? I'm seeing all these signups come in, so I start tracking. And I'm seeing that every username is first and last name of this person. So I'm trying to contact the contactor. So then I track the traffic down from the IPs, and I see that it was coming from a fiber guy. So She went and bought
Yeah.
some traffic on Fiverr, and it was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, guys, whatever you do, stay off Fiverr for one, because that's not real solo traffic. That's just people trying to get $5 in exchange for some fake traffic. And yeah, bot traffic is really dangerous. Not only do you waste money and you don't get any real signups, but also it actually does bad for the system, because I've seen systems that crashed because of bot traffic. I've seen, all sorts of nasty stuff, and you really want to like triple check when you're buying. And the easy way to tell whether you're getting bots is like, extract the IPs, and you can do that with the quality click control software I mentioned in number 4. You can also talk to Dale, I'm sorry, who has access to the back end of the system, right? But you can track like IPs and stuff like that to the system you just mentioned. And also just don't work with people who don't have feedback. Like, or if they have feedback, make sure it's not made up. And usually you can tell, because the people who would give them feedback are usually, either don't exist at all, like even on social media, or they might be also selling traffic. And so you don't want that. Like, you have a lot of solo providers out there, for example, who swap testimonials. They'd be like, let me give you a great testimonial, and you give me one, and we'll both have testimonials, but nobody actually bought any traffic, and there's no real basis behind it. Now, a couple of questions you should ask a solo provider before committing to buy traffic. First off, did you mail this or any similar offer before? Right, so you want to know whether or not they mailed your offer before, because your teammates might be trying to get traffic from the same person. And usually, if the solo provider isn't huge, isn't big, like for example, we do like 3 million clicks a year, so we're pretty big. But most solo providers will do about 3,000 clicks a month, and that's when you think about it, that's not a lot. And so they can quickly max out their capacity. So you really want to make sure that you allow at least 2 to 3 weeks between promotions. So if they mailed out the Infinity Profit System for somebody, and you're coming in the next day, you really want to make sure they have a chance to replenish their list with new subscribers before you blast. Okay? Now, number 2 is, where would I be able to sign up on your list to receive your emails? And I like to do that and I usually do that way before I come buying the solo, right? I'll try to do that like a month before, so I can get a feel of what this person sends out. Because believe it or not, a lot of people will um, cut corners to get you clicks, and these still would be, real good clicks, but these would be misled clicks, if you will. I mean, Dale, did you ever see people mail out stuff like, hey, you got $400 commission pending in your account, click here to claim?
Yep, yep.
Yeah, and so that's what they
I
do. they
got
they
one right
mail out
now.
fake swipes. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Inside my inbox right now, I said that I got $1,000 in funds waiting on me. Click here to claim, and then I go and it's this lady trying to sell me something.
Yeah, exactly. So they will do whatever they have to do. They'll put in all sorts of stuff in the subject line just to get you to open the email and click. But imagine how horrible it would be if you're spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars on a single promotion, where every click that came on your page feels, and when I say click, of course I mean a real person, right, who clicked on the link in the email, like when they feel misled, and when they don't trust you. I mean, because as far as they're concerned, the offer they landed is directly connected to the email, and whoever sent the email is full of shit. So then the offer is full of shit as well, and so they don't even check it out. They just leave. And in this naturally skeptical world, in this naturally skeptical marketplace, that's how people are. They will do whatever they can to protect themselves, and they will judge you as bad, just with for any reason. Like, they won't give you a second chance, or they won't look into your stuff, even if there's just a little smidgen of doubt in their mind that you might not be legit. So, question number 3: will you be using my swipe, which is the ad creative, which is the actual email that the person needs to send out to their list to get you the clicks, or will you write your own? And I personally write my own swipes, whenever we send out promotions. But some people will blast out your email. That's okay. And but you always want to ask. Sure. I'm so sorry. So you always want to ask because it does give you a little bit of a clue. Like, I'd actually trust the person that mails out their own swipe more than I would if they would just take mine, because that means that they really don't have a voice that they use to communicate with their list. That means that they don't have a relationship with the list either. I mean, my list, if I just say, if I give my list to you, Dale, and you start emailing them, you're not going to get as great of a response as I would, because your voice is totally different. I mean, even if you email like me, even if you email as me but in a different voice, you'd see the response quickly go down, because they're just, at this point, after years and years and years, they're conditioned to respond a certain way, right? So you always want to make sure, as much, I mean, as much as you can. I mean, sometimes you would compromise, but you always want to work with people who are just writing their own emails, because it just shows more professionalism, and shows how they do have a relationship with the list, which means the list actually listens to them. And so, last but not least, you also want to find out what's the estimated delivery time frame, and what happens if the provider does not deliver within the agreed time frame. Meaning that, what if it takes them a month to deliver your clicks? I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I want my clicks to be delivered within, well, a couple of days after it goes out, right? And that is something that's important to me, because I want my business to keep growing. I don't want to wait for a month to get 300 clicks. So you always want to discuss all these things up front before committing, just for the reason that you need to plan out your schedule, your budgeting. Because if this guy takes 30 days to deliver 300 clicks, you might as well just work with someone else who takes 2 days, because they probably have a bigger list, and it's more responsive. And during this process, when you're asking these questions, the moment the solo vendor starts acting funny, meaning they either start making up bullshit excuses as to why they can't answer a question, or there's some incongruency in the way they answer the questions, this is when you want to run the other direction. You really don't want to risk it, and you want to just stop communicating with that person. And trust me when I say this, I learned this the hard way. I tripped over every rock, and I lost tens of thousands of dollars buying clicks over the last several years. So just take my word for it, and don't take a risk. Now, some extra time tips. First off, you want to buy in small chunks. You never want to go all out and buy 10,000 clicks. Even if you have the money to do that, you do want to stick to 500 to 1,000 clicks at a time. We recommend, when someone starts working with us, we usually recommend 500 clicks to run the first promotion. Now, on another hand, if you don't have the budget for it, the very first run should be at least 300 clicks, and not 100 or 200, not even 50. We have some people who reach out to us and they ask for 50 clicks to test, but I mean, these numbers are just unrealistic, because you won't know for sure. That's not enough to collect data, because if you think about it, with an average opt-in rate of 30%, maybe 20%, depending on the offer, right? So I would imagine with Infinity Profit System, that would be about 35, 40%. How many leads do you get from 50 clicks? Nowhere near enough, I'd say, to run a profitable business. Now, number three, send to a squeeze page first. Okay, never send directly to a sales page or a bridge video. Always send to a squeeze page first, because you will make more money this way. You need people to opt into your list, get on your list, and start getting your follow-up emails, because most people, believe it or not, are conditioned to be skeptical. I mean, how many times have your mother or your father told you not to trust strangers, and if it quacks like a salesman, and yada, 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 right? You really want to remember that, and just accept the fact that people are skeptical. So it takes more than one interaction to get them to comply and look into your stuff. I mean, I have this theory where the prospect goes through the four main stages of evolution. The prospect goes from skeptical and curious SOB, uh, to curious SOB, to then a customer. They just commit to buying your first entry level product, and then to a raving fan where they start buying everything. So in order for them to make the transition from a skeptical and curious SOB to curious SOB to customer, like, it will take you more than one interaction with them to do it. Now, some people, and that's up to 3% of all customers in the whole world, okay, some people will respond faster, either right away or maybe after just one or two encounters. But most people take on average about 7 times to get familiar with you, to get to trust you. And that's why, one of the techniques, one of the ways that you generate more trust with your list is just the consistency of it. It's kind of like what I was telling about Joan Rivers at the beginning of the call. She was consistent about writing those jokes. You need to be consistent about emailing your list, because through the consistency, it's one of the 6 principles through which people decide that you're an authority. I have people who tell me they've been following me around for 8 months sometimes, before they decided to get some traffic from me. Now, 8 months is a lot, but sometimes you have to be patient. And just because I was consistent, and I would email them every day, and I'd be there in their inbox every day, eventually, by the time they're ready to commit, they're gonna come talk to me, not to someone they never talked to before. Okay. So another reason, by the way, why you want to use a squeeze page is because of the micro commitment principles, where, Dale, how when you take a girl out, you don't like ask for sex right away, right? You first start with inviting her to a cup of coffee, then you have a little cup of coffee, sit down, then you have a dinner, then you do some fun activity together, and so on and so forth. So you take her through these little micro commitments, and so that's the same thing you want to do with your subscribers. You get them to opt into your squeeze page. You get them to watch the bridge video. You get them to check out your sales video. Then you get them to read and open your emails. And so eventually, through these tiny micro commitments over time, they grow to trust, like, and buy from you. So what do you think about that, Dale?
Yep, that's absolutely right. You have to take them through stages. You just can't, opt in, then hurry up and buy, because I have a guy from Canada. He opted into my list, I want to say back in 2012. It took him a whole year before he made his first purchase. But now, every time that I send out something good, I can expect to see that guy buying from me every time. Like, and this been happening for years, all because I took him through those stages. A year is a long time, but he still stayed on my list. He never left, and then boom, he bought that one time, and now now he's a constant buyer. So yeah, you can't just send out an email, hurry up and buy, hurry up and buy, hurry up and buy, and expect to make sales.
Yeah, that's why I explained it with sex, because I like sex first, and I also believe that it's a very good comparison to marketing. Like, you won't just approach a woman on the street and say, "Hey, honey, let's have sex right now," because you'll probably get slapped upside the face or kicked in the balls or something. You're probably not gonna get laid, but occasionally you might get lucky. Who knows? But most of the time you're not gonna get lucky, and you're gonna be considered to be a freak, and you're probably gonna be they're probably just gonna file a lawsuit against you or something. Now, same thing with sales. Most people out there, they just go in and just buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, and it's like the first thing they do is just buy my stuff, and that's just not right. You have to create the perfect environment for that, and you have to create the perfect timing. That's why you want to take them through a series of micro commitments before pitching them something. But it also doesn't mean that you don't want to sell beforehand. In other words, like, I see lots of people do the opposite thing, which is the wrong thing to do, where they would just try to give value, and teach content, but never sell anything. Have you ever seen that happen, Dale?
All the time. I'm on a few lists where this guy, he never tried to sell me anything. He just hand out free knowledge, and I was wondering, like, how do he make money if he's
Exactly.
not selling? I done learned so much stuff from him for free that I'm like, he need to
Why would I buy, right? Like, you keep giving me all this stuff for free. Why would I buy? Because I know that even if you sell something, um, uh, you'll eventually gonna try and give it away for free anyway, right?
yeah.
It's like, why would I even bother doing that? And it's true. And then what it does for you just conditions your list to become freebie seekers. And again, remember, it's all about conditioning, by the way. Like, I know that I compare selling and recruiting people to sex, which is one great way of doing it, but there's also lots of similarities and commonalities between trying to recruit someone into your team and get them to listen to you and to comply with your demand of buying your stuff, as there is with kids. Kids are they like they get conditioned into behavior. They're not born a certain way. And we can argue, of course, about personalities and stuff, but when it comes to behavior in society, they get conditioned. And so I noticed that with my own daughter, like, she would quickly get conditioned to behave a certain way when I respond a certain way or when I do something, you know and you can control that with your list. You can definitely control that, and you should control that by basically pitching in every email and selling. But rather than trying to sell your how I would say, like, your opportunity right away, what you want to do is you want to sell your ideas first. You want to sell your beliefs first. But you want to get them acquainted with the way you perceive the world, with the way you feel about the community, with the way you approach things, and not so much with your company, not so much with your product. And the moment they resonate with your belief system, they will start listening to your marketing messages, and they start believing you. One of the reasons why people don't buy from you, if you ever wondered, it's because they don't trust you, right? So creating that trust through consistency, through authority, but not through trying to show expertise, by giving them value and content, which is the wrong way to go about it. This is how you do it. This is how you do it. You don't do it through hard teaching and hard content and all that stuff. So just wanted to kind of briefly mention that, without going too deep into the subject, that there is a buying cycle. You have to be a little bit patient at first, but you have to also be consistent, and you have to approach your list from a standpoint of timing and environment, not just as a way to get them to check out your sales video. Right? You have to warm them up every time you do. So again, there might be a reason for us to revisit this topic on another training, which is fully dedicated to that, and because there's just not enough time today to discuss all that. Now, we already discussed click tracking, so I'm not going to talk about that. Now, testimonials and case studies, again, we talked about this, but it's worth mentioning again. Really take a hard look at the testimonies they present, because some of them will be made up, some of them will be swap testimonies. So you really want to make sure you're not getting duped. And always get a clear mailing date confirmation and some sort of a guarantee. If they are not willing to guarantee anything about the traffic, whether, most will not guarantee results, although we do, but at least they can guarantee the traffic to be delivered a certain way. They can guarantee a certain, top tier percentage of their traffic. They can guarantee things if they really wanted to. So if they are not willing to guarantee anything, just don't do business with that person. Now, before I go into where to look for traffic, Dale, is there any questions in the chat or anything?
No questions as of yet. I just think I'm just listening and paying attention to any questions.
Okay, cool. So,
questions. Give me 1 second.
all right.
No questions.
So can we?
Yeah.
Okay. So, the 3 places where I recommend you go looking for solo ads when you're just getting started to minimize the risk of falling for scammers, because these places usually have decent traffic providers hanging out there, is the Word Forum classified ads section. It's the also the secret Facebook groups, and you have a link on screen right now. We'll also make sure that Dale has the PDF version of this presentation, so you can click these links. And also the solo directory at solodirectory.com, maintained by my friend Reed Florin, who went out there and basically bought solo ads and posted all results on his blog, showing who's legit and who's not, which is pretty cool, I think. Now, what you should avoid is trusting Udemy.com, which is a soloed marketplace, and anything similar to Udemy.com, because I found the rating system to be misleading over there. Because people tend to do ad swaps and they trade feedback. I mean, Udemy.com, I believe, is owned. I believe that's the case. I might be wrong. This is just my opinion. It's owned by a person who used to own SafeSwaps.com. And the way things worked at SafeSwaps.com is you could ad swap. An ad swap is just basically two people with lists exchanging solo ads for free. So, I remember doing an ad swap, and the person that I did it with, they wrote to me and they'd be like super pissed. They'd be like, Igor, you're, start calling me names and saying how my traffic is crap, and I sent them fake traffic and all that stuff. Now, obviously, I can't prove them wrong, but, I did not agree. So instead of writing me a bad feedback on my solo swaps, on my a Safe Swaps profile, you know what they did? This person told me the following, and I quote, "Look, I want to get a good feedback from this swap, so I'm going to post a good feedback for you, although I'm not satisfied, and if you promise to do the same for me." And I said, of course, why not? And so that's what I did. I just posted a good feedback for him. He posted a good feedback for me, and this is where it's ended. But the point of this whole story is that it was not true, right? The rating was not true, and he should have posted the real negative feedback. Now, I imagine that that's exactly what happens with other people, and that's why everybody has positive feedback on these marketplaces, because nobody wants to gain an enemy and write honest feedback, because it's just impossible that every single solo ad someone runs is ideal, right, Dale? I mean, no matter how awesome your list is, you will eventually like drop the ball, or maybe there's going to be a message to market mismatch or whatever. But it just can't be that every single promotion is a winner. It just doesn't work like that.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And we do have one question. We got a question from Tiffany. She's saying, how does he feel about capture pages with phone numbers and emails, and how do you know when is a good time to actually have a capture page with a phone number?
That's a good question. That's a really good question, and it ties back to the whole micro commitments concept. Because again, let's take male female dynamics. I don't approach a woman and ask her for her phone number right away. I need to establish rapport. And so before I do that, I need to take a series of steps to get her to like me and to get her to trust me enough to give me her real phone number. Otherwise, I'm running the risk of either getting a no or getting a fake phone number. Now, Dale, have you ever tried building a list using a squeeze page that collects phone numbers?
Yes, and I see that a lot of people, when you ask for a phone number, the opt-in rate be really low. I also I had a system that I was using that collected cell phone numbers and verified the cell phone numbers, but the opt-in rate is low, really low. But the lead is good, but the opt-in rate is super low. So asking for a phone number sometimes is not a good idea, in my opinion.
Well, I believe that the right way to do this, based on all the campaigns we ran for cell phone capture pages, and we ran both for the ones that just ask for the cell phone and the ones that ask for the cell phone, the email, and the name. I believe the best way to do it is to ask for their phone number on the next page or on the sales page. In other words, um, first thing I collect is just an email. But after they took at least one or two micro commitments with me, so watch the video or maybe clicked another link to get deeper into my funnel, then I can feel okay about asking for the phone number, because I know I'm going to get a real one. The number one issue we faced when we were doing promotion straight up to a cell phone capture page is that the opt-in rate we got was like 9%, and no matter what we tried, we couldn't get it over 10% hump. And not only that, a lot of these fake numbers were fake. because nobody likes to share their private information on the internet because of all the crazy horror stories where people's identities have been stolen. you know so you really want to be careful with that, and you want to ask for the phone number, but a little bit later in the funnel. Then it's good because they went through some of your content, they learned to trust you a little bit, they want to know more, they're curious, they are less skeptical than they started, and so now it's a good time to ask for their real phone number. So, a couple of useful tips for you guys. What to expect. First off, the click pricing today might range anywhere between 70 to 170 per click, depending on the quality of the traffic source. Now, you want to remember that there's also traffic that's higher priced and lower priced than that, but that's the average. I usually do not go for the super duper low traffic source, like 40 cents or 35 cents or 50 cents per click, unless I know and have used that provider personally, or unless a close friend of mine told me that that is a legit person. So if you're going cold, if this is your very first time, do not risk it. Get traffic from somebody who's at least 70 cents or above, because the chances are that if you go for the super cheap ones, you might fall for a scammer who just tries to get attention and tries to scam you for some money. Again, people do that all the time. Now, also, something that's true with solo ads, which is really true with almost anything today, cars, electronics, you get what you pay for. So don't be a cheapskate. Get a little bit more expensive traffic. Your business will thank you for it. You'll make more sales. You'll get higher quality opt-ins, and you will make more money over time from your list. Okay. Now, another thing to watch out for is your ROI, which is money invested divided by money collected. But the ROI, you don't calculate the ROI right away. Give it at least 30 days or whatever the buying cycle is. Dale, do you mind sharing, if you have this information, what is the average buying cycle for somebody who took interest in the Infinity Profit System? And what's the time frame between them getting interested and them committing?
I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I know the last time I checked, our conversion rates was like super high. I'm not sure if it's because it's brand new or what, but I can't give a correct number as of right now, because it's a new program, and anything new is hot. So like the number is like way up. So I want to wait maybe to like January, February, and then I'll have a good idea on follow up and all that, because right now the number that I can give right now is like way too high. So
Yeah, makes sense. It will average out. Yeah, I believe so too. And I would say, from what I've seen in the past, from opportunities that were a little bit, so not identical, but some that were similar a little bit to the Infinity Profit System that I've seen before, there's still a buying cycle of 30 to 60 days where people take their time to make a decision. Like, in other words, they want to get acquainted and familiar and get comfortable around the system before they will commit to it. I have people who often respond to my emails, and I promote a lot of Empower Network leaders. Like, they would come to me to get traffic, right? And so I can be mailing Empower Network nonstop for 10 days, only for different people sometimes, to a list of, say, 100,000 people, right? Which is, I mean, it's not maxing out the list, but it's just, promote the same thing. So naturally, there's like the 20% of people who open every email that I send out. Not everybody, but some. And I have oftentimes people respond to my emails and they'd be like, hey man, I see you promote Empower Network for the last 10 days. Is it any good? Because I've been looking into it for the last couple of months. Like, so it gives you a clue that even if the offer is amazing, even if it's a complete no-brainer, you're still going to have people who are doubtful and skeptical because of their previous experience joining similar systems. So if somebody joined Empower Network, didn't get results, and left, and they're now looking for a new system, they're going to be skeptical based on previous experience about the Infinity Profit System. They want to join it, right? I mean, it's only natural for us to base our future on our past results, right, Dale?
Yeah, absolutely. It's people out here that then, experience some crazy things. So they definitely not jumping right into something. But as of right now, I don't have the numbers because it's brand new, and like I'm seeing almost everybody who watched the video is signing up. So those numbers are unreal right now. It's hard to give numbers. I know the last time I looked, he was sitting at like 83%. Like, so it's really hard to tell right now.
Well, we shall wait and see. But these numbers are really promising. I can tell you that.
Yeah,
Most systems I've ever JV'd with never got those types of conversions, even at the early stages.
yeah.
So even if these numbers will die down by half, that's still going to be a crazy
Still
impressive
super,
sign up.
still super numbers. If it died down by half, that's still super numbers. So
Yeah. So right now is probably the time to promote, folks.
yeah, right.
Now, another tip for you guys: don't be shy to promote other things to your list, and after a while, like even like if they didn't like get in after 30 days, find a similar opportunity and promote it because you never know. You never know. Sometimes people don't join opportunities for all the stupidest reasons. Like someone told me they didn't want to join Mo because they didn't like Matt Lloyd. But if his system makes money, I see no reason not to join it. So you don't know what's the reason why somebody might not want to join, and therefore don't discard a subscriber for being a tire kicker just because they chose not to join this particular opportunity with you. Okay, there still might be something else that they will join. Now, you also want to encourage your subscribers to reply to your emails and strategically move them to a different media as soon as possible, like Skype, Facebook, and phone. Meaning that, sometimes what I would do, I would send out an email just that's like the complete opposite of a marketing email. It would say something like, the subject line says, "Hey," just like a friend would email you, and the body of the email says, "Hey, last time I checked, you were looking to make $3,000 per month online. If that's still true, just reply with a yes to this email, and I'm going to show you something cool." And so you can imagine that a lot of people start replying with a yes. And so I have a preset email ready to go where I would email them and I would say, "Oh, thanks for responding. Awesome. Now head over to this page and watch this video. It's going to help you make 3K per month." And that's probably going to be like a link to join opportunity or something, maybe a presentation or a Google Hangout or something that is going to help me move them and get them to re-engage me again. Now, this is a strategy that is not being used by anybody, and it's one of the most profitable things you can do. So use it. Okay, I just gave you a way to make a ton of sales. Use it. Now, even though we discussed it, I believe it is really important to refresh this again. Most people are too skeptical to buy right away. It's just the nature of the marketplace. It's the nature of how we are as human beings. I mean, Dale, have you ever done this when you go in to buy perfume, or maybe you go in to buy some like an electronics, like a TV or something, right? Into like a Best Buy, and then as the salesperson explains to you the features of the TV you're trying to buy, you're like on your iPhone checking
I can't hear you. It went out a little bit.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah. Now I can hear you.
So, did you ever do this when you go to Best Buy to buy a TV? And while the salesperson tries to explain to you all the features and the benefits of all the nice gadgets that you get, you get on your iPhone and check with Amazon, like what's the cheapest price you can get the same TV at on Amazon? Yeah,
Yeah,
we all have. Yeah, I did this with the perfume the other day. Went out to get my wife some a perfume that she likes from Dior, and which is kind of freaking expensive even for me. And as the cashier was like explaining things to me, I googled it, and I was like, "Hey, you're selling it to me for $150. I just found it online for 75. What gives?" And she'd be like, yeah, that's probably fake. That's probably not real. Blah blah blah. So like I really. I guess the point is we're all skeptical. We're
yeah,
just skeptical by nature. We live in a world where Everybody tries to sell us something. We get hit with 10,000 advertising messages a day. We develop ad blindness. We develop natural skepticism based on past and present experiences, based on the experiences of our friends and colleagues that tell us about bad experiences. So you always want to remember that when you market to your list and when you market to the leads you're getting with solo ads, that it does take a little bit of time, and you need to be consistent to gain their trust. And that's about it. Now, before we go into Q&A, it's worth mentioning that if you're working with Dale and you're a member of the Infinity Profit System, you should just go to myclickstash.com, where you'll see a page that explains what we do for you to make your solo ads risk-free, and then you submit a little short free form to get the process started, where we will get you your first risk-free promotion, also at a discount because you're friends with Dale. Okay, he actually twisted my arms into securing this deal for you because he doesn't want you to get scammed with a shady traffic source. So if at any point you have questions, you can email us at support@igorsolowitz.com, or you can hit me up directly also at facebook.com/Igor Helps You Succeed, which is my personal Facebook profile. I will not answer like pricing questions or stuff like that, but I will be happy to chat with you about the overall strategy, about things to look out for, and anything in between. Okay, unless I'm super busy doing hangouts for people or writing emails, and then you can expect slower response. But usually I'm pretty quick to respond on Facebook if it's not too busy for me. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for what I've got, and I would love to do a Q&A to kind of go into some frequently asked questions if there is any.
Okay. Also, guys, it's at the back office of Infinity Profit System under the resources. You'll see a link for it's been there since day one. I know a few of you have seen it and even filled out the application, but haven't responded back. So that's back there also if you want to check them out there. Let's jump into questions. You can start typing your questions into the chat box. Oh man, I got
Okay. In the meanwhile, Dale, maybe you have some questions that you got asked in the past by clients about solo ads, traffic, or list building, or email marketing.
Yeah, a lot of the questions that I get asked are basically along the lines of I don't have a big email list, or I don't have a big budget. How can I make money with solo with solo ads? Or I sent out an email to my list, but no one is opening up the emails. That's a main.
Yeah, that's pretty common. Yeah, that's pretty common. Well, first off, I got without offending anybody, I find that most people have no clue how to write decent subject lines or write good emails that are actually worth responding to. An email, again, it's a whole art in and of itself. But you do want to treat your emails the way a friend would write it to you. Like, you would never see me write an email that looks like a marketing email that talks about my product. Like, I would always talk about my prospect. I would always think about my prospect, and I spend a lot of time in my prospect's world, meaning that I actually invested the time, believe it or not, to just sit down in my room back home or in bed before I go to sleep and think about all the things that my target market is going through, right? And think about all the things that are bothering my clients. Think about all the things that my clients want to create for themselves. Most people don't do that. Most people are really limiting themselves and their knowledge to, I got a great system, join my system. And they really don't spend the time to learn about the ins and outs of their client's brain, right? Because at the end of the day, people don't buy your product. People buy improved versions of themselves. People buy shortcuts in time, and they buy tools to save themselves the headaches and shorten their learning curve. So if you focus just on your system and your product, you're not going to make sales. I can virtually guarantee that. But if you focus on your prospect and you ask yourself the questions, to find out like what are my prospects thinking about every day, what are their common reality, what do they go through every day, like what's some of the problems they're facing every day that are bothering them, or what is that thing that prevents them from falling asleep at night. What is that thing that makes them feel embarrassed? What is that thing that makes them feel proud of themselves? Like all these deep psychological questions, the moment you answer these questions, you can write amazing emails that cannot be ignored. They just can't be ignored. you know like I'll give an example. There's a new thing in the dating world called sexting. Sexting is when people cheat on their spouse by text messaging with other people. They don't necessarily have an affair, right? But they just have long, meaningful conversations through chatting on Facebook or text messaging or WhatsApp Messenger with someone else, which of course might lead to cheating. But it's an actual term, sexting. So you can write an email if you're going into the dating market. You can write an email about sexting, and how if you believe that your spouse is doing that, you should be worried, and then promote a product that teaches them how to become a better spouse, how to become a better and more attractive spouse for their wife or husband, in order to eliminate the necessity for their partner to even consider doing anything like that. You know, does that make sense, Dale?
Yeah, that make good sense. What I usually do, I take a little shortcut when it comes to emails. I'm on a lot of different lists, so I get a lot of emails from a lot of people, and the ones that catch my attention, I'll go and I'll read the email, and then I'll make my own version of that email in my own words, and kind of get an idea of where I want to go inside the email, and I start to write from there. Because what's that I'm seeing? I'm seeing a lot of people go to sit down to write an email, but then they're stuck because they don't know how to start the email off. So I usually take good ones and use them as a template, say to speak, and start from there. And I'm writing an email.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. And it's a very common problem for almost anyone who does any kind of writing. It's called the writer's block, where
Yeah,
you sit down in front of a blank page and you don't know what to do. That's a psychological thing, really, and it's really a myth. I believe it's something that we do for ourselves, and it doesn't really exist as a problem in my world. The way I treat it is, I mean, your strategy is definitely one of the ways to deal with it. There's plenty of ways to deal with the writer's block. The way I found to work for me was to just sit down and write something, not even related to what I wanted to sell in my email. I would just sit down and write whatever's on my mind. Like I would write, I have no fucking clue what to write about, period. New paragraph. Damn it, this is so annoying, blah, blah, blah. And so I will write that for like 2 minutes, and then you know what happens? Good stuff comes out.
yeah,
Like all of a sudden an idea comes in. And I believe the reason that happens is because when your mind is preoccupied with beating yourself up for not being quote unquote creative enough to write an email, you can focus on a good idea for your email. Set this thing out on paper, you kind of get it out of your mind. Oh, there's more room now for great ideas, and they come in. And trust me, you don't need to get creative either. You just need to understand your market. You just need to know what your market is thinking about. So the moment you do, you can write about their fears, their frustrations, their emotions, their insecurities, anything really. And the more insecure they are about something, the more I'll write about it. By the way, like I wrote about this particular issue, the writer's block, and and inability to write an email, just a few days ago, where I really laughed at the fact how they're told they need to be creative. Because most people think to write good advertising and good emails and good copywriting, you need to smoke lots of funny stuff and lock yourself in a room for 24 hours with other creative, funny stuff smoking people. But it's not true. You can really just sit down and pump out a great email in 10 to 15 minutes. In fact, I pumped out an email just before getting on this call, in about 25 minutes, I pumped out a 500-word email about Joan Rivers. What I mentioned. That's why I started the call. Talking about Joan Rivers, because I just wrote an email about her and hit send. And I'm hoping by the time I'm gonna be done with this hangout here, to collect some cash.
Okay. He got a question from Tiffany. She's on Facebook. She actually was on the hangout, but she got kicked out for some reason. She's saying, can I ask you about how sites like MPA and Traffic Monsoon, that they offer traffic, I guess. What do you think about those type of sites?
Well, first, I'm not a member of Traffic Monsoon, and I believe that the other one is My Advertising Pace, right?
I think, I don't know. I
Um,
heard of either
yeah,
one.
if it's maps, then it's My Advertising Pace. So these traffic sites give you incentivized traffic, where people buy ad credits, and they basically use these ad credits by viewing other people's advertising. That's how they make money. Now, I personally believe, but that's my belief. I don't have any proof. I don't have any empirical data to back this up, and everything should be tested. The only thing you should trust is not anyone's opinion, but your own numbers. But I believe that when someone is getting paid to view your advertising, and literally that's what they're getting paid for, not to respond to the advertisement, but to but to view it, then I believe that is not effective.
Absolutely.
Unless, of course, your advert is so freaking good that they can't resist. But that needs to be tested. So I do know, though, of one client of mine that did okay with My Advertising Pays traffic, where he purchased banner ads, I believe, off of My Advertising Pays, and he did make sales with his funnel. But that's only one person that I know of. So
Yeah.
please do your own testing. Personally, I don't believe in buying traffic that is incentivized to view your stuff. It just doesn't, like, logically, it makes no sense for them to buy anything, because they get paid to quickly pass to the next ad.
Yeah. Yeah. So they not even looking. Basically, they just clicking
Yeah,
and
they might not even be
clicking.
looking. Yeah, they might be turning the page on and then just watching TV in the meanwhile. And when the timer hits 30 seconds, which is usually the case, they'd be like, "Oh, okay, next one." Bang, click, click, click.
Yeah.
So
Okay, we got a question from Bridget. Vistaprint offers marketing and email lists. Does anyone know how good it is, and have they ever tried it before? No,
can you
Bridget,
repeat the
I'm gonna
question?
answer that one. I'm not buying any traffic from Vistaprint. That's, yeah, no, don't do that.
All right.
Yeah,
Um,
no Vistaprint traffic, please.
I have no idea what Vistaprint traffic is, to be honest.
Vistaprint is a website that sells like business cards and postcards. It's not BizOp. Whatever type of email list that they have there is not BizOp traffic. You want BizOp
Right.
traffic. Any more questions before we jump off? Going once, going twice.
I guess we did a great job after all.
Yeah,
No
okay,
questions.
Igor. We don't have any questions. It's Christmas Eve. I appreciate you coming out. Guys, you can find his website located inside the resource section. He also gave the website. What was the website again, Igor?
myclickstash.com. It should be on screen for anyone who's watching, and I'll make sure that this entire presentation PDF will be. I'll get it to you after the call, and you can put it on the website, so they can download the presentation to their computer and click on these links, including the directories that I mentioned. So you guys can just click on the link and get over to the directories to get further investigate traffic.
Okay, who's this? Somebody asking about Traffic Monsoon. He just answered that question. Basically, Traffic Monsoon, people are being paid to click on ads. So that's up to you to go ahead and test And I mean, I never personally used it. Igor, he never used it, and I don't know anyone
Yeah,
else.
actually, you know what's funny about Traffic Monsoon? I'm friends with two guys who are really close friends to the with the owner,
Uh-huh.
and I actually have a lot of people coming to me to promote their Traffic Monsoon business. So they will be in Traffic Monsoon making money with the credit ad packs, but they will also buy traffic from me to get new signups into their downline so they can make more money.
Yeah.
Yeah, so but I hear the Traffic Monsoon is really nice income stream too. I know like Ari Maccabi, a fellow
Yeah.
traffic provider, he does Traffic Monsoon. He seems to be very pleased about it, and he's got a large team of people who do the same. So as far as quality of their traffic, cannot judge. Never used it, but I definitely know it's a pretty decent program, and it allows you to build capital, although really slowly, but you can build some income with it if you're willing to just sit there and click on ads all day long.
Yeah. I mean, I never used it, so I can't. I don't know um, what's going on with it, but. Okay, guys, we're going to go ahead and end it. This replay will be up. We'll have the PDF. And once again, Igor is located under the resources. And I'll talk to you guys soon inside the group.
Awesome.